Adam blushed from this ambiguous praise. "Congratulations on Megaforce," he said, referring to a current blockbuster of John's. Owing to John's radical decision of the previous winter, he was not making a single penny from Megaforce. In his pocket were 90 $20 bills, and this was all the money he had in the world. "Thank you," said John. "Adam told me you're a sleazebag," said Susan. John, caught completely off guard, laughed. Adam froze in horror, and Susan smiled and said, "Well, you did say it, Adam." "Susan, how could you?" "But you're right," said John. "Look at my track record and you'd be bang on." Susan, still looking at John, smiled. "You're wearing 2 different colored shoelaces today, John. Is that for good luck?" "Good luck? I wish. My luck lately has pretty much stunk," said John. "I saw you feeding the birds under the table. That's nice." "I saw you were doing it, too." "I like birds." John's teeth were big and white, like baby corn. His eyes were the pale blue color of sun-bleached parking tickets. "Why?" Susan asked. "They mind their own business. No bird has ever tried to sneak me a screenplay or slag me behind my back. And birds still hang out with you, even if your movies tank." "I certainly know that feeling." "Susan," Adam interjected, "your projects do well." "They're crap, Adam." Adam was trying to figure a way out of what he perceived as a dreadful collision of faux pas, mixed signals, and badly tossed banana cream pies, but he needn't have worried. Across the terrazzo, Jer-Bear made the auga, auga noise of a drowning submarine in order to attract John's attention. But John and Susan, alone among the annoyed lunchtime crowd, ignored him. Adam said, "Would you and your colleague like to join us for lunch, Mr. Johnson?" John awoke from one level of awareness and realized he was in public, in a restaurant, surrounded by people bent on eating food and gossiping, and this felt to him like the opposite of the place he wanted to be. He stammered, "Yes?" Susan looked at him kindly. "I really need to get out of here. You wouldn't want to come with me on a walk, would you?" She stood up, catching Adam's bewildered eyes. "I'll call you later, Adam." Staff scurried about, and in the space of what seemed like a badly edited film snippet, John and Susan were out on North Robertson Boulevard, amid sleeping Saabs and Audis, flowering flowers, and dazzling sunlight that made the insides of their eyeballs bubble as though filled with ginger ale. "Are you okay for walking in those shoes?" John asked. "These? I could climb Alps in these puppies." She smiled. "No man's ever asked me that before." "They look Italian." "Good eyes. I bought them in Rome in 1988, and they've never let me down once." "Italy, huh? What was going on in Rome?" "I was doing a set of TV commercials for bottled spaghetti sauce. Maybe you saw them. They were on the air for years. They spent a fortune getting everybody over there, and then they went and shot it inside a studio anyway. And to make matters worse, they propped it with cheesy Italian stuff so it looked like it was filmed in New Jersey." "Welcome to film economics." "That wasn't my first lesson, but it was one of the strangest." "You never did commercials, did you?" "I went right into film," John replied. "Commercials are weird. You can go be in a reasonably successful TV weekly series for years and nobody mentions it to you, but appear at 3 a.m. in some god-awful sauce plug and people phone to wake you up and scream, 'I just saw you on TV.'" A mailman walked by, and once he'd passed John and Susan, in cahoots, they copied his exaggerated stride, then made devilish faces at each other. "You gotta hand it to him," Susan said about the mailman, now out of earshot. "For a guy his age, he sure works it." "How old do you think I am?" asked John. Susan appraised him. "I'll guess 40. Why do you ask?" "I look 40? "But that's good. If you're not 40, then it means you've accrued wisdom beyond your, say, 35 years. It looks good on a man." "I'm 37. Susan persevered gently. "You still haven't told me why you asked." "Because I think about how old I am."